So my wife and I built this house a few years ago, but we left a corner of our yard unfinished when we landscaped. We had toiled with the idea of building a shed or possibly a garden of some sort, but we ultimately decided on a garden, and we are pretty eager to remove this eyesore from our yard. Alright, so in this video I'm going to walk you through our design and the steps we took to build this beautiful planter box out of pressure treated wood, corrugated steel, cement, screws, and pavers. For the posts, the plan is to use pressure-treated 4x4s. Pressure-treated wood is ideal for applications where the wood will get wet regularly. Poles or posts like this can last up to 40 years without any sign of rot or decay. I first need to determine the location of each post. I plan to put a post in each corner of this U-shaped planter box. Using twine and stakes, I staked out where I want the planter box wall to sit. I leveled the twine because I wanted the planter box to be level instead of following the slope of the yard. Then I dug, measured again, and cut the 4x4s. Before I can install these posts, I need to cut a slit using my table saw so that the corrugated steel can slide down into the 4x4 to be attached. For the installation of the post, I want this to be a permanent structure, so I will be pouring the cement to hold the posts in place. Instead of mixing the cement beforehand, with the post already in the hole, I will fill the hole with dry cement, then simply douse the dry cement with water and mix it up a bit to make sure the cement cures throughout. It is then a process of rinse and repeat. The corrugated steel will need to be cut to size using my cordless grinder and a diamond metal cutting blade. Using a chalk line can help make diagonal cuts easy to keep straight. Each end of these individual sheets will need to be flattened to allow the sheets to slide into the slit previously cut into the 4x4 posts. Now I need to build out the rail. I will be using 2x4 pressure treated wood for these rails, designed to help support the corrugated steel and give us something to lean on while gardening. To help support the corrugated steel and to eliminate any gaps between the rail and the steel, I will use a dado blade to cut a slot for the steel to sit inside of. I determined, after installing the corrugated steel, that the long pieces of steel might have difficulty holding the soil without bowing and potentially coming apart. I decided to use some pressure-treated wood that I had left over to make additional posts halfway between the longer pieces of the corrugated steel. As a precaution to prevent the corrugated steel from slipping out of the posts, I drilled 2 holes through the steel and drove a screw fastening the metal to the 4x4 posts. Eager to plant our garden, we began to fill the box. We used a trick to fill the space near the bottom of the box, often referred to as a lasagna garden. We started with a layer of cardboard, followed by mulch and grass clippings, and then we topped it off with 6 inches of garden soil. To water our garden, I ran a line from one of my sprinkler zones that was already pressure regulated. A better approach would have been to run a completely new zone to the garden, but I did not want to go through the hassle of trenching across my entire lawn. I added a valve so that we can shut off the water when the garden is not in use. We then ran a drip line throughout the garden and attached an adjustable dripper to deliver the water to our plants. Because we were in the prime planting time of the year, we planted all of our vegetables and saved pavers for another day. To lay the pavers, I need to get the ground flat and compacted. To do this, I used a handheld tamper. This helps to prevent the ground from sinking or shifting underneath the pavers. After making sure my surface was sloped as to not allow a pooling of water, I then laid out a thin layer of concrete mix to use as my base. This is not the typical way to lay pavers, but I thought I'd give it a shot. You usually use a road base or sand as your base. I guess I will see how this works out. After smoothing out the concrete, I began to lay my pavers using my wet tile saw to make the necessary cuts. Now that all of my pavers are laid out, I need to fill the cracks with sand mix concrete. They make a mix specifically made for pavers, but I am just using a standard bag of sand mix. To accomplish this, I will spread the sand mix across the pavers using a broom, making sure to fill all of the cracks. Finally, I will spray down the pavers to get all of the sand mix wet, trying to avoid creating puddles or washing away the cement. Like normal concrete, the moisture will help the concrete to cure and provide a strong bond for these pavers. Now that you can see the finished project, let me know down in the comments if you would have approached this differently and what tips and tricks others watching this video can use on their own project. If you found this video informative and helpful, please like and subscribe. I plan to make videos similar to this around all of my upcoming projects. Thank you for watching.